Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or solemnly and sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or not guilty of perjury?
I do.
Please state your full name, spell your last name, and state your address for the record, please.
Jose Morales, Morales, Highland Avenue, Cheshire.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. You may be seated. You're all set, Attorney Gavin.
Thank you, Your
Thank
Honor.
you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Morales.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Have you ever testified before?
Never.
Okay. A little nervous?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Mr. Morales, we're going to go nice and slow,
All right.
okay? And you let me know if you don't understand any of my questions, okay?
Yes,
All right, sir. How old are you?
I'm 48.
Okay. And where were you born?
I was born in Puerto Rico.
Okay. And just tell us a little bit about your background, sir, where you were raised.
I was born in 1976 in the island of Puerto Rico. It's in the east corner tip of the island. I was there till I was 11 years old. We came into the United States.
There's no question pending.
Yes.
He was talking about where he was born.
I understand, and he's going into a narrative without a question pending.
Okay, all right. Well, it was an open-ended question, but I will go ahead and allow you to continue where you were born. If that's it, in Puerto Rico, you can finish with a
May
follow-up.
I also just inquire, Mr. Morales has got something up there that he's.
Napkins.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yes, I just want to be sure that there wasn't anything that would have been inappropriate.
Attorney Gavin.
Thank you. You were born in Puerto Rico, sir?
Yes,
Okay. Did you come to the United States?
I did.
Okay. When did you come to the United States?
Around 1988, 1989,
And how old were you at that time?
11.
Okay. And sir, where were you raised? In
I was-
Connecticut.
Well, we first came into Cheshire, and then from Cheshire, we moved into New Haven.
Okay. And when you say we, who are you referring to?
My mom, my two brothers, and my father, but my father ended up going back. So my mother and my two brothers,
Okay.
an older brother and a younger brother.
All right. Sir, how about your educational background? Just tell us in your own words what your educational background is.
When we got here, I went into middle school, 7 and 8 in Fairhaven, then high school, and I got a little bit of college education from Gateway Community College.
At New Haven Community College?
Yes,
Okay. Thank you, sir. Sir, I want to get this out of the way. Do you have a felony conviction from 2012 and a misdemeanor conviction from 2006?
I do.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. All right, now, I want to talk about your relationship with Christine Holloway, okay?
All right.
I want you to tell us in your own words, when did you meet Christine Holloway?
I met her late fall, early winter 2016.
Okay? And did you enter into a relationship with her?
Well, at first we met through a dating app, and we started communicating. Then we exchanged numbers. We started talking, and eventually things grew, and we got to know each other good, and we started dating.
Okay, all right. So how long have you been dating Christine Holloway from the time that you first met her through December of 2019?
Around 3 years.
Okay, all right. Can you tell us your mom's name?
Gloria de Jesus.
All right. And do you have a stepfather?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what's his name?
Marcos Garcia,
And where do they reside?
New Haven, Connecticut.
Okay, can you tell us the address?
105 First Avenue, New Haven, Connecticut.
Okay. And sir, back in 2019, did you own an automobile?
I do.
And
I
what
did.
and what kind of automobile was that, sir?
Nissan Sentra,
Okay.
2003.
Okay,
Tan color.
thank you. Sir, I'm going to call your attention to the Thanksgiving weekend of 2019, and we're going to start with Wednesday, which was 11/27, okay?
Okay.
So these questions are all involving Wednesday, 11/27, all right? Sir, were you employed as of Wednesday, 11/27, 2019?
No.
Okay. Where were you residing?
2 places. I
Okay.
was living with my parents in New Haven, and I had an apartment with Christine in Ansonia. So in the weekends, I lived in Ansonia. In the weekdays, I lived in New Haven because I had 2 kids that in New Haven, I lived with my 2 kids in my parents' house. And then I ended up having a kid with Christine. So we got an apartment, and I was also living there.
Okay. Now, was Christine employed back in November of 2019?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know where she was employed?
She was working at a daycare, Morning Bright Daycare in Bridgeport.
All right. Okay. And you were familiar with that place of employment, I take it, correct?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Now, this is the day before Thanksgiving. This is Wednesday. So I'm going to call your attention to the afternoon of Wednesday, November 27, 2019. Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what happened that day?
Well, Wednesday, I remember that I was in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Well, we were decorating. I was decorating the outside of the house for Christmas. Well, we consider Thanksgiving the inauguration of Christmas, so to speak, the Christmas season. So right before Thanksgiving, my mom and I, we had a whole bunch of different Christmas stuff, and we started decorating. And it was me and my son that were decorating outside
Okay.
in the afternoon of Wednesday.
All right. Let's go into the evening hours. What happened in the evening hours?
Well, Christine and I and my son Isaac and I had stayed in Christine place in Ansonia the weekend prior to that Wednesday. So we had made plans that for the Thanksgiving holiday, Christine she was going to sleep over with us in my parents' house. So she was coming directly Wednesday. She was working she was getting out of work around 3:30, but she said she was gonna get out of work a little before that. So around 3, she said she got out of work and she was heading directly to my parents' house. The day before that, I told her to pack
Mr.
everything in.
Morales,
Yes,
just talk about what happened on the Wednesday. Did Christine show up at your parents' house?
yes, she did.
Okay. All right. All right. And did she spend the evening there?
She did.
Okay. And can you just tell us who was there? Was your mom and dad there?
Well, my stepfather was there, my mother was there, my son Isaac was there, my daughter Isabella was there, and that was it.
Okay.
And Christine and Vanessa and me.
Great. And that was Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And did she sleep over at the residence at 105 First Avenue that night into Thanksgiving morning?
Yes, she did.
All right. Okay. Now, I'm just going to call your attention. Now we're going to move to the following day, which is Thursday. Okay.
All right.
Thanksgiving Day. Tell the ladies and gentlemen, the jury, in your own words, what happened on Thursday.
All right. So on Thursday, I woke up around. Well, we got up a little bit late because it's a holiday. My mom got up early because she was doing the Christmas cooking. The Thanksgiving cooking. So she got up early for the preparations. Christine and I ended up helping her in the kitchen for a little while. Around noon, we decided to go into Christine's grandmother's house in Bridgeport just to visit with them for a little while. So around 1 o'clock, we left New Haven. Christine, myself, and Vanessa, we left New Haven and went directly into Bridgeport, which is where Christine's grandmother lived at. We ended up getting there around 2 o'clock maybe. We were there for like 2 hours. I remember that her grandmother was there, her mother was there, her sister, her brother. Somebody else was in the house, but he never came out the room. We was there for like 2 hours. We had a Thanksgiving meal together. We played around, everybody enjoyed. We was just in the house hanging out with each other. Everybody was playing with Vanessa. We had a good time. It was a good Thanksgiving day. No problem, no trouble, no nothing. We're just enjoying each other.
Did you come a point where you left Bridgeport and returned to New Haven?
Yes.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury when that was.
After we had the Thanksgiving meal at Grammy House, we say our goodbyes. We got in the car and we just drove directly to New Haven,
Okay.
to my parents' house.
And did you stay in New Haven on Thanksgiving night, which was the 29th? Excuse me, the
Yes.
28th. Sorry about that. On the 28th, Thursday, the 28th, did you stay in New Haven that evening?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to take you to the following day, okay, which is the Friday, and that would have been the 29th of November. And I want you to tell us in your own words what happened. Let's start with the morning and into the afternoon of Friday, 11/29.
So Friday, I got up early. Well, around 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning. Christine, she was sleeping upstairs in my daughter Isabella's room because my mom and my parents are conservative, extremely conservative, and there was gonna be, according to, no fornication in their house. So if I sleep over, if I have Christine sleep over, she's gonna sleep in one room. I'm gonna sleep in a different room because that's the way that my mom allowed it. So she was sleeping in my daughter's room. So I get up around at 8:30. I get ready. I go upstairs. I knocked on the door. I go inside the room. She's in there. She's feeding Vanessa. I play with Vanessa for a little while, and we start talking about a noon appointment that we had because when she got to the house on Wednesday, she told me that.
Objection is to what somebody said.
Just tell us what you did.
All right. Well, she was using my car. Kristen been using my car since the fall. I mean, since before summer of 2019, and I was using her car because my car was a little bit better than hers. Her car had no AC. So because her car had no AC, I didn't want her driving around in the summer with Vanessa in a car that has no AC. So she's been using my car, and I was using the Mazda. I didn't have much to drive. She was going
Just
from
hold on a second.
Ansonia.
You just said a Mazda. What kind of car? Whose car was the Mazda?
The Mazda 2002 was Christine's car.
Okay. All right. So now let me take you to the afternoon. I want to ask, did you come a point where you left the house in New Haven, and did you leave with anybody else?
Yes. So around noon, we had an appointment to go and talk to a salesman at Barberino Nissan in Wallingford. The appointment was at 12 o'clock. So a little bit before 12 o'clock, Christine, myself, and Vanessa, we got in the Nissan in my car and left to Barberino's, and I made a quick stop, bought a couple of Lucy's cigarettes because I was trying to quit smoking cigarettes. I wasn't buying a pack of cigarettes, so I bought Lucy's, and we headed to Barberino's.
Okay. And what was the purpose of you and Christine Holloway going to Barberino?
Well, we wanted to get a newer car because both of our cars were old. Mine was a 2003, hers was a 2002, but my car was in a little better conditions than hers. So we was gonna get her a car first, and then after we'll wait for a little bit longer, and then we was gonna get me a car. So we went to Barberino's to purchase a car for Christine.
Okay. And just tell us, and that was, you had a 12 o'clock appointment. Were you there in the afternoon, which would have been Friday the 29th, sir?
Yes.
And approximately how long were you there?
Well, we got there around 12:15, and we were there till like 5 o'clock.
Okay. Now, were you able, or you or Christine or both of you, were you able to go ahead and select a replacement car?
Objection at this point, Your Honor. He's leading. I've been.
Oh,
You can.
So when we got there, we started talking to the salesman. The salesman started doing the credit background and things of that nature. He was approved. So once he was approved, he went and got a vehicle for us to see. Once the vehicle was there, I said, Christine, go take it for a ride. I'm gonna stay with Vanessa in here. She took it for a ride. She came back. She loved it. So the decision was made to buy it. The paperwork was being done. Everything was approved. So the salesman asked me, because it was some cash that was going to be given for the vehicle and her Mazda. So her Mazda was gonna be a trade-in, part of the down payment for the new car, for the Ford. So the salesman asked me if I can go, if the
Objection to what the
Mazda.
salesman said,
You can't
please, Your
testify.
Honor.
All right,
Mr. Morales, just stay with me for a second.
all right.
Did you leave the dealership and go get Christine's Mazda?
Yes,
And did you return it to?
Objection leading, please, Your Honor.
It's just
Sus-
background.
Sustained.
Okay, sir. We'll take, did there come a point in the afternoon where when you left Barberino?
yes.
Why?
So I left to go get Christine Mazda. It was
Okay.
parked in front of my parents' house in New Haven. So I went from Wallingford to New Haven, and I was driving the Mazda. I mean, I was driving the Nissan, the one that we took to Wallingford. I drove to my parents' house in New Haven. I parked the Nissan, jumped in the Mazda, and drove right back to Wallingford.
Okay. Your Honor, if we may, I need Exhibit 161
Sure.
with the assistance of the state, please, which is the cash report. Mr. Morales, I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit number 160, which is full exhibit, which is the cell phone tracking device. Do you have a monitor up there you can
Yes.
see? Okay. All right, sir. Sir, the cell phone tracking device indicates on Friday that your cell phone, and I'm going to ask you what it is in 1 second, that your cell phone tracked from the New Haven area up to the Wallingford area. See that?
Yeah, I see it.
Can you just tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what your cell phone was back in November 2019?
203-809-2849.
Was that accurate that you left New Haven and you went up to Barberina?
Yes.
And this analysis is from 10:47 to 11:36. Your Honor, I'm now going to turn the page to page 10. Okay, you see that on the monitor?
Yes.
And that's the time frame from 11:36 a.m. to 2 p.m. And sir, do you see Barberino Nissan with the icon in the middle of the area?
I do.
Right, that shows that your cell phone was there at Barberino, correct?
Yes.
No,
He's
no
leading
question
again,
about
Your
that.
Honor, please.
Sustained. Just be careful with the reading.
Thank you. I'm going to now turn the page, Mr. Morales, which is page 11 of the CAS report. Okay, and from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. You see that?
I do.
Okay, and do you see the direction to travel?
Yes.
What was the direction to travel?
Back to New Haven.
And did that happen?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us in your own words, sir. What time did you leave Barberino and where'd you go?
We left around 5:30, something like that. And we went directly to my parents' house in New Haven. We did a little joyriding to test drive the car a little bit more, but then we went directly to my parents' house.
And just tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do you recall what type of vehicle was purchased at Barberino?
Yes, it was a Ford Focus, black Ford Focus.
All right. Now, so you told us you returned back to New Haven, correct?
Yes.
Tell us in your own words what happened next.
So when we got back, the first thing that happened was that my Isaac and Bella, my children, they came outside and started playing with the car, jumping in, looking at it. We went back inside. Wednesday, I started, when I was doing the decoration, I told my mother, I'm gonna continue it on Friday after Thanksgiving Day. So As soon as we got back, we continued doing it with the decorations. So when we ate, then we were in the living room and we were decorating the Christmas tree.
What happened next after you decorated the Christmas tree on that Friday?
Well, after a while I was decorating the Christmas tree, somebody started calling me or texting me.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about Christine. What did Christine do?
Well, she was helping us.
Okay. Just after you were done helping, what happened next?
Well, I got a text and a call from this guy that wanted a ride to Bridgeport.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained, I'll strike the portion of the response that says that wanted a ride. That's hearsay.
Okay, let me focus you here, okay? Because you can't testify what somebody else said or text you.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just talk about what you observed, okay? All right, where, if anywhere, did Christine stay at 105 First Avenue in New Haven?
No.
Okay, just tell us, where did Christine go?
Okay, I get it. So once we got done with everything, the decoration, and it was time to go, she was gonna go back. So I started getting the phone calls and the text, whatever, from a person. And I helped her. We packed up. I put everything in the car. So I told her, I said, all right, so I'm gonna see you in a little while. I'm gonna go somewhere, and then after I do whatever I gotta do, I'll meet you in Ansonia. She was like, okay.
Objection to what someone else said, please, Your Honor.
Sustained as to what
You can't
Christine
testify
said.
what
I'll
somebody
just
else.
strike that from the record. Thank you.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Mr. Morales, I want you to stay focused now, okay?
Yes.
All right, where did Christine go?
She went back to
Objection,
Ansonia.
speculation. He's,
I'll sustain it unless he has personal knowledge.
Do you know where Christine was going to?
Well,
Just, sir,
yes,
yes or no?
yes.
Yeah, okay, and where was that?
Back
Again,
to the
speculation.
apartment.
I'll allow it.
Back to the apartment in Ansonia.
Okay, that's 6.5 Myrtle Avenue in the
6.5 Myrtle Avenue. Yes.
Okay, so let's go, so she left, correct?
Yes.
Okay, now let's go slow at the.
Well, I left first, and
Okay.
then she was.
Okay, you left. You tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, where did you go?
I went to a guy named Hector's house
Okay, why?
because he wanted a ride.
objection, Your Honor, is to what
Well,
he said.
I went
I'm
to.
gonna, hold on a minute. Are you claiming that
Yes, sure.
as?
Yeah.
What's the exception here say?
It was the effect on the
Okay,
jury.
all right. So ladies and gentlemen, the statement because he wanted a ride is not being offered for the truth of the matter as to what Hector said. It's to show the conduct or the effect of those words on Mr. Morales and why he went to Hector's house, okay? Not being offered for the truth of the matter. So I am limiting your consideration to that response solely as it applies to the effect on Jose Morales's conduct upon hearing that. All right, you may continue.
Without telling us what anybody else said,
Okay.
we just want to ask you, what did you do into the evening hours of Friday, the 29th of 2019?
Okay.
Just tell us what you did, sir.
So after leaving my parents' house, I went into Hector's house, picked him up, and drove to Bridgeport
Okay, why'd you drive to Bridgeport?
because he wanted a ride.
Okay, why?
He asked me for a ride.
Objection.
Okay.
Sustained
Yeah.
in terms of what Hector asked for. And again, ladies and gentlemen, the whole he wanted a ride and the reason for going to Bridgeport, I think we understand the connection to show the effect on the listener, which was Jose Morales not being offered for the truth of the matter. You may proceed.
Thank you. Did you go to Bridgeport?
Yes.
What did you do in Bridgeport, Connecticut?
When we got to Bridgeport first, I don't really know my way in Bridgeport, so he was guiding me around. We went to a gas station. He went inside. Then we left the gas station and we went to meet somebody that he wanted to meet.
Okay, all right, and then what happened?
So we met this guy, the guy that he was going to meet. He wanted to buy drugs.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
what
I'll
fact,
just indicate to the jury that they're to strike that portion of the response from Mr. Jose Morales on the stand that said he wanted to buy drugs. You may proceed.
okay, you can't testify what Hector said or somebody else. Just tell us your own observations. What happened in Bridgeport?
All right. So we met with the person that he asked for the right to meet for.
That's fine. You may continue.
And what happened next? Just tell us in your own words what happened.
All right. So he got whatever he wanted to get, and we drove away from that area.
Okay,
So as we driving away, he's rolling a blunt.
all right,
I'm
just
sorry.
go slow now for us. What's a blunt?
Oh, a blunt is when you got the a cigar. You take the guts out of a cigar, and you put weed in it, or you put whatever it is that you want to put in it. They roll it up and you smoke it.
Okay, all right, so thank you. So you were in the vehicle, Mr. Morales, and just tell us in your own words, what happened?
All right, so I'm thinking that he's rolling a blunt. I'm thinking that he's rolling weed, but I'm not sure because I'm driving and he's guiding me around. So he starts smoking. He passed it to me. I start smoking too. So we start smoking together. Next thing you know, I wake up somewhere else in Bridgeport in the passenger seat of my car with Hector in the driver's seat. It's a whole bunch of people around the car. He's talking. I don't know any of these people. These are his friends. He's talking to them, and I'm like, what happened? And they start laughing like I passed out. So I said, let's get out of here. Let's go. So he turned the car on and we just take off.
Okay, now, were you in the passenger seat or the driver's seat at that point?
I was in the passenger seat.
Okay, just 1 second if I may, Your Honor. Sir, I'm going to show you what's been previously marked as the cast report on the time frame on Friday evening. Just 1 second, please. Just wanna make sure I have all the pages. Yeah. Great. And, sir, did you have your cell phone with you
I did.
when you went down to Bridgeport?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's fine. That's fine. Now, you said that you were in the car, you smoked something, and then there came a point that you left Bridgeport. Is that correct?
Yes.
And approximately what time was that?
I'm thinking around 9 o'clock,
All right.
8, 9 o'clock at night.
Okay. Now, you're in Bridgeport, 8, 9 o'clock at night. Now, Mr. Rodriguez is driving and you're in the passenger seat. Is that correct?
Yes.
And tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, where'd you go?
Well, as we driving back, I'm still in and out of it because I was high. I got so high that I wasn't really focusing on anything. I couldn't focus on anything.
All right, let me stop you there. When you say you were in and out of it, tell us what that means.
That means I was in and out of consciousness. Like I was just drifting from consciousness into non-conscious.
Okay. Had you ever been in that state before?
Yes.
Okay. And sir, as you sit here now, do you know what it was that you ingested when you were in Bridgeport?
Yeah. He rolled the bag of dust.
Okay.
Blunt, PCP.
All right. So when you say he rolled a bag of dust, tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what that means.
He in the blunt that he was rolling, he put dust. He rolled the bag of dust.
All right. The jury doesn't know what dust is. Okay. So we have to go slow here. Okay. All right.
Sorry.
You said that it was PCP. Is that
Yes.
correct? And just tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, does PCP also have other street names?
Yes.
Okay.
PCP
And what
is also known as angel dust.
is known as angel dust?
Yes.
Okay. So when you had ingested and you had smoked the marijuana blunt, it had PCP in it, correct?
Yes.
And you had
Your Honor, I'm going
ingested.
to object at this point to leading. First of all, there's no evidence before this jury that it is marijuana. His testimony was he thought they were going to purchase marijuana, but now he's testifying that he smoked dust. So there is no evidence at this point of marijuana.
I'll sustain the objection.
And I would ask again that the questions not be leading, please.
So you were in New Haven. You felt the effects of what you smoked, correct?
Yes,
Had you felt like that previously when you had ingested drugs in the past?
yes.
Okay, tell us what happens when you ingested drugs like that in the past.
Well, I started smoking PCP or Angel Dust when I was like 16 years old. And I've been smoking it ever since.
Your Honor, I'm going to object at this point that this is improper. It's propensity evidence, character evidence. What he did at a previous time is not relevant to.
All right, I'll allow the answer if the answer is going to be what, in response to the question was, which was, how had you felt like that previously when you had ingested drugs in the past? Just how he felt, not a recitation of the history of any drug ingestion. So partially, I guess, sustained, but I will allow the answer to the actual question that was asked.
You can answer.
Just how he felt.
How did you feel?
previously.
Was it similar to how you had felt in the past when you had ingested drugs?
Yes,
Okay.
it was a relapse.
Now, I want you to
Your
tell.
Honor, I would move to strike.
Okay,
It was
I'll move-
non-responsive.
I'll strike, it was a relapse, so I'll strike that from evidence as unresponsive. The only answer that you should consider at this point would be the yes. All right, Attorney Gavin, you may
Thank you,
proceed.
Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay. We have to be very careful with our answers, okay? All right,
Yes.
Mr. Morales? But you told us that you had felt like that in the past. Is that correct?
Yes, I have.
And please tell the ladies and gentlemen, when you were in the car in Bridgeport going back to New Haven, how did you feel?
Well, like I said before, I was in and out of it because I haven't smoked that in so long that
Objection,
Just
Your
how
Honor.
did you feel?
Sustained.
And I would also ask the defendant move closer to the mic because I can barely hear him.
All right,
Okay.
so
No.
let me deal with one thing at a time. So again, I'll sustain the objection. We're just going to answer the question that's asked, and I will ask you please to just keep your voice up a little bit, Mr. Morales, so everyone can hear you, and just make sure you're keeping up close to the mic. All right, Attorney Gavin.
All right.
Thank you.
So you were describing how you felt in the vehicle. Tell us with specificity, how did you feel in the vehicle?
well, I was high, confused. Everything was blurry. I couldn't really see. I had no focus. Everything seemed really dark. And that's how I felt.
That's fine. Where did you go after you left Bridgeport?
Well, we were supposed to go
No,
directly
no.
to
Where
New Haven.
did you go? Just tell us where you went, not where you were supposed to go.
Well, I remember several stops were made in our way back to New Haven from Bridgeport.
Okay, just tell us where. What do you
Not
recall?
clear. I don't remember. I was in and out of it, but I know that we stopped in a couple of spots.
Oh, okay. So just so the testimony's clear, you recall stopping, but you don't know the location. Is that fair?
Exactly. I wasn't driving and I wasn't,
The question's been asked, Your Honor.
Has to answer it.
Okay. Where, after you left Bridgeport, you told us the condition that you were in. Did you return anywhere?
we went back to Hector's house
And where was that located?
in East Haven.
In East Haven, Connecticut? Okay. And what time did you get back to Hector's house? Approximately.
10 o'clock, 10:30.
All right. And just tell us in your own words, what did you do next after you returned to East Haven, Connecticut?
So once we got to his house, we parked on behind the house. We went inside. Hector started talking to some people. He started making drug
No, no.
transactions.
No, you can't talk about what somebody else said or did. Just tell me, you went back to New Haven to Hector's house,
Yeah,
correct?
all right. So
Okay,
we went.
how long were you at Hector's house?
We went upstairs. I was there for, once we got inside his house, there was some other people in there. They were really not that friendly to me. So at the same time, I got a call from Christine. I went outside the house. I talked on the phone for a little while. I said, I'll be there in a few minutes. We just got back. She was waiting for me in Ansonia. It was supposed to take 2 hours top right, and it's already like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, almost 12, midnight, whatever. And I told Hector, all right, I'm leaving. And I can say what he did. or
Sure.
no? So he started like going in he went in his pocket and he started giving me stuff. And I was like, what's this? And he was like,
Objection as to what he said.
But just be careful not to say what he said. You can talk about his actions, but not what he said.
What did Hector do?
well, he gave me everything that was in my pockets, all my stuff. Somehow he had it and he gave it to me. He said something and I took it, but he also gave me 2 bags of dust.
Okay,
he
let me
said-
just stop you there. Is that the PCP you referred to?
Yes.
Okay. And just tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, he gave you 2 bags. Describe it for the jury.
Well, it's 2 like dime bags, little Ziploc bags that you put weed in it or whatever. Two bags of that.
Okay. And then what happened next?
Well, I grabbed everything that he would give because he gave it to me with the other stuff that he was giving it. I grabbed everything and I got out of there because the guys that were in there with him gave me a bad vibe. So
Okay, so let me just stop you. Okay. So you left the apartment, is that correct? Okay. And where did you go?
well, I went into my car.
Okay. All right. And you went into the Nissan Sentra.
Yes.
Okay. And just
Objection,
tell,
we're leading, Your Honor.
I'll allow that.
Well,
just tell us, where'd you go next?
so I got in my car. I wanted to get out of there. First of all, I didn't want to.
Non-responsive, Your
Sir,
Honor.
where did you go next? You were at Hector's. Where did you go next?
Well, I drove to like downtown New Haven and I parked somewhere.
Okay. How long were you there?
Not sure.
Okay. What happened next that you recall?
Well, I parked because I wanted to get my head straight a little bit because I was still like, I'm lucky I made it to downtown New Haven.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Sir, you got to answer my questions, okay?
Yes.
All right. You said you left Hector's, you went to downtown New Haven, you
Yes.
parked the car. Do you
Yes.
have any recollection how long you were there?
Probably half hour, 40 minutes.
All right. And just tell us what happened next, sir.
Well, Christine called me again. So I turned the car on and I started driving to Ansonia.
Okay. Where were you going to?
Ansonia.
Okay. All right. At 6.5 Myrtle Avenue?
Yes,
Okay. And did you arrive there at 6.5 Myrtle?
I did.
Okay. And approximately what time was it?
12:15.
All right. Okay. And what did you do when you arrived at 6.5 Myrtle? This is,
So I parked. I got out of the car. I started grabbing the stuff. I went in my pockets looking for the key. I couldn't find the key to my key to the apartment was missing. I couldn't find that, so I called Christine.
okay. And then what did you do? Did you go into the apartment?
Well, once the door was unlocked, I grabbed everything that from the car. I grabbed my laptop, my backpack, the base to the car seat that was still in my car. So I grabbed that and I went inside.
Okay. Into the apartment at 6.5 Myrtle.
Inside the apartment of
Right?
6.5
And
Myrtle
Christine
Ave.
Holloway was there, correct?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor, we're leading. And also, can we approach a logical breaking point for the afternoon recess at some point, please?
We'll break at 3:30. You may continue.
Thank you.
You went into the apartment.
Yes.
Okay. What did you do next?
Well, the first thing that I did was I put this stuff down. Christine was on the bed. All the lights were off. I walked up to Christine. I gave her a kiss. I started talking to her and I told her about what this dude just did to me.
Okay. Did you stay in the apartment?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now this is now into Saturday morning. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
You oriented with me?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
here.
Right. So you had left Bridgeport and New Haven, and you went back. Now it's Saturday morning. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, now, on Saturday, which would have been the 30th, tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what did you do on Saturday, November 30th, 2019?
Well, that day, we woke up around 8 in the morning, 8:30. I went in the bathroom, did my thing. Christine was taking care of Vanessa. We were just in the house. I didn't do nothing. We didn't go nowhere.
Okay, just, did you leave the apartment on Saturday, November
No, I
30th?
didn't leave the apartment at all on Saturday. We
Did-
were in there.
Did Christine Holloway leave the apartment on
No,
Saturday?
she didn't.
Okay, you were there the entire day?
Yes.
Okay, now, I want to take you to the evening, Saturday evening into Sunday morning. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay, let's start from the midnight timeframe, okay? What did you do around midnight on, which would now be Sunday, December 1st, 2019?
So we were watching TV all day, right? So around midnight, I started getting them cravings for dust that I had just smoked. And it started running through my mind that I still had 2 other bags, right?
I can't hear him, Your Honor.
You have to speak
So
loud.
it was going through my mind that I still had 2 bags of dust left. So the craving was getting the best of me. So I told Christine I'm about to roll a bag and smoke. She said, "Okay." whatever.
Objection, Your
Don't
Honor.
say what she said, just say what you
Move to
did.
strike it, please.
Sustained. Court is going to strike what Christine said. You're not to consider that as evidence. Thank you.
Please, just tell us what you did, sir.
All right. So after I rolled a bag, I went outside to the front of the apartment to the deck to smoke.
Okay, and what did you do on the front of the deck?
I smoked the bag of dust. I smoked the blunt.
Okay, all right. And how long were you outside?
This was around 1 o'clock. When I went outside to smoke, it was around 1 o'clock in the morning. And probably 10 minutes. I was out there for like 10, 15 minutes smoking. And I smoked the whole blunt.
Okay, and what'd you do next?
Well, I got super high. Obviously, I haven't smoked in a while.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
What happened next? What'd you do next?
So I was high. I got sort of what happened Friday. I got disoriented. Everything got blurry. I couldn't see clear. I was stumbling. Sort of like it's like taking a gallon of vodka and drinking it in one shot. So, anyways, I stumbled my way inside of the apartment. I left the screen door closes itself. I left the door open because the front door I left it ajar, whatever, and I walked right inside into the bathroom.
Okay, what'd you do when you were in the apartment?
I went into the bathroom.
Okay, and what'd you do in the bathroom?
In the bathroom, I sat on the toilet, not to use the toilet, but just to sit there because next to the toilet, there's a window. There's a sky window on top of the tub that we leave open. So inside the house, I can only smoke cigarettes only in the bathroom with the door closed. So I went and sat down on the toilet. I cracked the window because once I crack that window, I can light a cigarette. And if I light a cigarette with only one window open, the smoke stays inside. But once I open the other window, the smoke goes out of one window faster. So I sat on the toilet and I started smoking a cigarette and I started looking out the front window. And I was like dosing off and
Your Honor, I'm going to
Hi.
object to the narrative at this point. Just, it's a running narrative.
Okay, well, we'll stop
Okay.
at that point and then you can continue.
Thank you. Okay, so at that point, you were in the bathroom, you looked out the window. What did you see and what did you do?
all right. So as I'm sitting there looking out the window, smoking the cigarette, I look, and from across the street in Myrtle Avenue, from across the street, from the east side of the house, which is if you facing out the right side of the house across the street in the sidewalk, I start seeing movement coming on the sidewalk.
Okay.
Before we go further, Your Honor, at this point, can we have our afternoon recess, please? Because
Sure.
I think we're going to get into a,
We can do that. I had originally said 3:30, but apparently we need a break, so I am fine with that. We're going to take our morning recess. So I would ask the clerk to excuse our jury. Jurors will take our afternoon recess, 15 minutes. Thank you.
Judge Murphy presiding. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. All right, Mr. Morales, if you'd retake the stand.
All right, just leave it here, okay?
And I just want to remind you, as I did every other witness, you do remain under the obligation of your
Demonstrative.
language when you enter the stand. You may be seated. Thank you.
I'm attempting to enter two exhibits, which I understand the state has an objection to, and I don't know if you want to do that in front of the jury.
Okay, well, why don't we take a look and see what it is?
Sure.
Thank you.
Your Honor, for the record, it's been pre-marked as Defense Exhibit D as in David and Defense Exhibit U as in under.
Okay.
The two handmade maps like this with the Morales diagram.
Okay. All right, and I'll hear the state's objection to the maps.
Your Honor, these are hand-drawn exhibits by the defendant. I believe that I'm not sure quite frankly what their purpose is. If they're for demonstrative purposes, there is incorrect information on these things. There are hand-drawn arrows. There are directional indications that the state does not agree with. The directional indications, it is has self-serving arrows. I'm not quite sure what those are all about, which is again requires beyond the testimony of the defendant at this point.
What is the purpose of the introduction of the diagrams?
Mr. Morales is going to testify in regard to the inside of the apartment where he was and what he saw and what he observed. And the maps, Your Honor, and don't forget, he's been incarcerated for 5 years. He doesn't have the ability to go ahead and duplicate that the way that the state does, though they've had this for a long period of time. He can testify in regard to the location of the house and the side streets, what he observed. It's important next. And certainly the state can cross-examine him for admissibility purposes. I think they're both admissible. They're demonstrative.
Why don't you just lay the foundation with the witness outside the presence of the jury at this
Thank you.
point in time?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Morales, I have two exhibits. We're going to start with D as in David, Your Honor.
Okay,
Okay. Can you identify this exhibit?
Yes, I made it.
Okay. And when did you make that document?
Like a couple of months ago.
Okay. And where did you make that document?
Where?
Yeah.
In
Where
my
were you?
In my cell.
In your cell?
I cannot hear him, Your
In
Honor.
my cell.
myself.
You, Jose, the fan is really
All
loud,
right,
so
yeah.
you got to talk like twice as loud as you thought you wanted to.
Okay.
All right. So what does exhibit D as in David that's in front of you there, what does that depict?
Is the inside of 6.5 Myrtle Ave?
Okay. Now you're going to testify in regard to what occurred at 6.5 Myrtle. Would that assist you to go ahead in your testimony to the jury?
Yes.
Is that why you prepared this document?
Yes.
So that you could reference it?
Yes.
And now I'm going to show you what's also been marked as Exhibit U as an under. Okay. Could you take a look at that, sir?
Yes.
What does that depict?
The area around 6.5 Myrtle Ave?
Okay. And that's the streets that surround 6.5 Myrtle,
Yes.
where you've been testifying and you're about to testify. You were on in the morning of December 1st,
Yes,
and it shows the side streets, correct?
that's correct.
Objection, Your Honor, he's leading the witness.
It's a proffer.
I understand what it is, but he should still be creating his own foundation.
Attorney Stein. Are you done with the proper?
I would just, all right, Mr. Morales, does the map area that you created, does that show the side streets?
It does.
And would that also help you testify in front of the jury here?
Yes, it will.
Okay. And in regard to the directions north, south, east, and west, where did you get those designations?
From a Connecticut atlas.
From an
Map,
atlas?
yeah.
Okay. And they both would help you testify?
Yes, they will.
Okay. I have no other questions. Thank you.
Attorney Stein.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you wish to be heard?
Oh, I thought that you were about to say something.
No,
I apologize. All right. With regard to demonstrative evidence, Your Honor, it has to be a fair and accurate representation of what it portrays or conveys. It needs to be helpful or necessary to make the witness's testimony understandable to the trier of fact. It has to have a reasonable tendency to prove or disprove a material fact, to shed some light upon its materiality. And to this extent, we have 100 pictures of the inside of 6.5 Myrtle Street in evidence in this case, as well as several maps that were introduced through various witnesses with regard to camera locations, as well as other things along that line. To start to admit this self-drawn, self-serving demonstrative evidence, I do not believe that this is going to lend any substantial assistance to the jury in any of these issues.
All right, so Attorney Stein, those are the state's exhibits. This is the defendant's case. The defendant's testifying. He indicated it would help and assist his testimony to the jury. He also indicated what was purported to be displayed in those diagrams. I acknowledge they're not to scale. That's subject to cross-examination. Also, he indicated that they represent that area as he believes it to be, and they represent also authentically the inside of that apartment. So for those reasons, and the reasons that those items can be cross-examined relative to scale and any inaccuracies you believe are depicted in those particular exhibits, I'm going to allow the exhibits to come in as full exhibits.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, I'll take those back, Mr. Morales, please. Thank you. Attorney Governor. Why don't we mark them as full now? Thank you.
Your Honor, I'm going to be using the 911 call
Okay.
just so the court's aware, so we're going to have some technical.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
What are the letters of those, please?
Your Honor, the inside of the apartment is D as in David,
Okay,
and the street map
yes,
is U as in under.
okay.
There's a
All
lot.
right, so court has accepted into evidence as full D and U on behalf of the defense. We'll call the jury, I'll bring the jury in, please. Thank you.
Okay, but
Counsel, please stipulate to the return of our jurors.
stipulate to the present, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Attorney Gavin, you may proceed.
Thank you very much, Ron. Okay, Mr. Morales, I believe where we left off, you indicated that you had gone outside to smoke. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. And you indicated that you were smoking PCP at that time.
I was.
Objection, Your Honor, again. At this point, we're restating the testimony.
Okay, overruled. We took a break, counsel. You may continue.
I did.
You were smoking PCP.
I did, yes.
Okay, and what effect did the PCP have on you?
Well, it made me lose my focus. I got blurry, disoriented. I lost my balance. I couldn't see clear.
Okay, and then you said, I believe we left off that you had testified that you went back into the apartment. Is that correct?
Yes,
All right, and you went into the bathroom area. And I think that's where we left off, Your Honor. Okay, great. Sir, I'm going to show you two exhibits that have been marked as full exhibits. One is the Exhibit D as in David, and one is Exhibit U. So we just take a second here, okay?
all right.
Okay. Your Honor, for the record, I'm going to publish Exhibit D as in David.
Fine.
Okay. Mr. Morales, can you see that exhibit?
Yes, I can.
D as in David? Can
Yes.
you tell us who made that diagram?
I did.
Okay, and where did you do that?
It's of 6.5 Myrtle Ave.
6.5 Myrtle Ave.
Yes.
Can you just, I want you to describe, go slow, describe for us what is depicted in the exhibit.
All right. So we have the outside deck in the front. The walkway in, you got the screen door, the door, then you got a little towel area. That's where you put your stuff before you get into the open living space.
All right, so just 1 second, just if you could look at the monitor. You said the deck area, correct?
Yes,
And you said there was a doorway,
yes,
and there was a screen door and a secure door, correct?
that's correct.
And then a tile area?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And then we go into the living area.
Okay, is that over here?
Yes.
All right, what else is depicted?
Then we have a closet right in the upper corner. Well, right next to the towel. That's the closet. Yep. Then we have the kitchen,
Okay,
and it's like an island with the stove in the middle.
okay, in the kitchen area?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Then we have the dresser that I placed there to kind of make an illusion of a bedroom.
Okay, is that where it says room?
No, right in the middle above the bed.
Oh, I see, yes, I'm sorry.
You see the dress? Yes, yes,
Okay, so just so the record's clear, in the sort of middle of the middle of the diagram, it says bureau, correct?
yes.
Okay, that's what you were referring to.
That's just, yes.
Okay, yep. What else is
Then we have the room that you just pointed in.
this one?
Yes.
In the top left-hand corner?
And we have the laundry room next to the bed, the bedroom area.
Okay, was that over here, sir?
Yes. You have the dryer and the washer in there.
D and the W,
Yes.
okay,
And the bathroom.
okay. And what was in the bathroom?
The bathroom, we have the tub, the toilet, the sink, and a little dresser where we put the towels and stuff like that.
Okay. And sir, there are indications on the outside. Do you see this?
Yes, that's where West Street is at.
Okay, is that the side street?
Yes. That's the side street.
And how about on the top portion?
That's Cottage Avenue. That's the one that is behind 6.5 Myrtle. That's the one to the garage.
Your Honor, I'm now going to publish Exhibit U as in under. All right, Mr. Morales, I want to go slow here again. You see Exhibit U?
Yes.
See that up on?
It's upside down.
That better?
Yep, there you go.
All right, so let's start with the easy thing. Can you tell me where 6.5 Myrtle is?
It's right in the middle, right there. Yes,
Is that, and that's the residence that Christine was residing in,
yes,
that you referred to? Okay, And what street runs in front of 6.5 Myrtle? Sorry, withdrawn. Poorly worded. What street runs in front of the address 6.5 Myrtle Avenue?
Myrtle Avenue?
Okay? And then does Myrtle Avenue continue along?
Yes,
All right, now, there are diagrams here. It says 2, 6, 6.5. Can you identify that for the jury?
yes, those are the next door houses.
Okay, next door neighbors.
Yes,
All right, and how about this designation here, Judson Place?
that's the street to the side of the house, next to
Okay,
Myrtle Ave.
all right, and 6.5 Myrtle, was that contained between Judson Place and West Street?
It is,
Okay, and you can access Myrtle Avenue by going down Cottage, correct?
yes,
And you can go up Judson, correct?
yes,
And you can make a right on Myrtle,
yeah, yes,
and you can circle around and come back down on West.
that's correct.
And you can either go straight onto Mott Street or you can turn on Cottage.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. So let's go back. Let's go back to you at the apartment on Sunday morning, 12/1. Okay, do you need any of these diagrams?
Yes, that one,
This
yes.
one? Okay, let's put this up. I want you to tell, and Your Honor, just for the record, that's Exhibit D is in David.
Thank you.
I want you to go slow, and I only want you to tell us what you observed. You went back into the apartment, and tell us in your own words what you personally observed.
All right, so I went from the deck into the apartment and I went into the bathroom and I was sitting right on the toilet, looking out the window towards the front of the house. From across the street, I saw movement first, and then I saw two individuals walking on the sidewalk across the street
On what street?
on Myrtle Avenue.
Okay,
One of the individuals started walking across the street towards the apartment, and he did a bit of a jog towards the apartment.
okay.
When I saw that, warning signs and bells and alarms started running through my head.
What action did you take after you made that observation?
My first intention was to
No,
run.
what did you do? Just tell us. You saw it, made that observation. What did you do?
Well, I tried to work my way out the bathroom to close the front door, but because I was so intoxicated, I couldn't really move. So I made it to where the bureau is at, around that area, in the little kitchen area, right in between. I made it to like right here, right in
Okay,
between
Let me just, we have to put this on the record, Mr. Morales.
Yes,
The bathroom area is over here,
yes.
okay, and you came out,
So I stumbled my way out the bathroom
okay,
and made it to right where the bureau is at, next to the up the corner, yeah, but up by the kitchen.
okay. There,
No, a little bit above that.
a little bit above that.
Yeah, a little bit more, right there, around right there.
All right, so just so the record, you've indicated on the exhibit, it says bureau, and then there's the kitchen area, correct?
Yes,
All right, and you were between the bureau and the kitchen area?
yes.
Okay, and what steps did you take next?
Well, because I was so intoxicated that I couldn't do what I really wanted to do. I went in my pocket, I grabbed my phone, and I dialed 911.
Okay, let's just stop there. Your Honor, we're going to play Exhibit 162 at this juncture with the court's permission.
That's fine.
Mr. Morales, can you identify whose voice is on State's Exhibit 162?
Yes, that's my voice.
That's you calling 911?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
What number? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Thank you. Mr. Morales, you hear a female voice in the background. Can you identify for the jury whose voice that was?
That's Christine's voice.
Okay, so just tell us in your own words. You said you got your cell phone, you called 911, and what happened with Christine?
Well, Christine was sitting on the bed. She was watching TV.
Okay, all right,
So she had no idea what was going on.
okay,
Objection calls for speculation, Your Honor.
Sustained.
okay.
Just hold on a moment. Let me just strike that part of the response that said she had no idea what was going on. Thank you.
All right, did you have a conversation with Miss Holloway at that point?
No,
Okay, did she come over and talk on the phone
no.
in the background?
She was talking to me.
That's what I'm asking you.
Yes.
Okay, okay. There's no question that's Miss Holloway's voice at that point,
Yes.
correct? All right, all right. Now, you made the 911 call. I want you to go very, very slow for me now, okay?
Okay.
Tell us what happened next, what your observations were, what happened next.
So I called 911. I don't know how much time went by. Seconds. I felt hit. I got hit on the right side of my face. I lost my balance. I already had no balance to begin with. I lost my balance. I fell. I tried to lean on the little kitchen island. I couldn't get to it because I was not that close to it. So I fell. I got on my floor, on my knees and my hands, and I got hit right around my chest area. I stood there, laid out on the floor, high, extremely in a daze from I had just finished smoking a blunt. So at the same time, I'm listening, but I'm on the floor and I can hear that there's a struggle going on in the bed area. There's a fight. I hear screams. At the same time, I hear that somebody leaves the apartment. I see that somehow Christine got away from whoever it is that she was fighting with and tried to run out the apartment to go after the guy that left the apartment with Vanessa. The guy that she was struggling with was chasing her. Can you put the diagram? Yeah.
What do you want to say?
The one inside the apartment.
You want to see the
The other
map?
one.
You
The
wanna-
one that's over there. Yeah, that one.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. So this is Exhibit D.
Yes.
Okay, you can use this if you want to explain.
So from the little kitchen area right there, the kitchen island, that's where I was at in the living room
Okay,
area. And I hear the struggle going on in the bed area.
this is notated the bed over here.
Yes. I'm on the floor. Over there by the kitchen island. And I hear that somebody leaves the apartment first while Christine is still struggling by the bed area.
Okay.
She gets away from the person that she's struggling with and run towards the outside.
Towards the door area?
Yeah, towards the door area.
Where it says
But-
hold on, where it says entrance?
Yes, but she doesn't get that far.
Okay,
She gets to in between the carpet and the tiles.
All right,
And-
just go slow, hold on. There's a checkerboard.
That's the tiles.
Hold on, just hold on. I know you're interested.
All right, okay.
In the front of the doorway, was that area tiled?
Yes,
Okay, right up to the end of the closet and the bathroom?
yes,
Correct?
yes, correct.
And what about in the center area of the living room? Was that tiled?
No, that's carpet.
All right, okay. Now, we're oriented, go ahead, continue what you saw.
So I'm on the floor. Christine running towards the outside of the apartment. She either tripped or collapsed. By the half of her body's on the towel, the other half of the body's on the carpet.
Half of her body was on the tiled area by the doorway and half
Yes.
on the carpet area.
Yes. The guy that's running behind her stops and hits her with a crowbar. He gets up, he start pacing. Bitch, you scratched me. That's what he says.
I'm sorry, objection to what he said.
Sustained. All
Can
right.
testify to somebody else?
Again, ladies and gentlemen, the jury, I am just going to strike that portion of the response, which said, I believe, quote, something about striking me or bitch something.
Right.
All right, so whatever was said, please strike from your notes if you have them. Thank you.
Okay, so, the gentleman.
So-
Hold on. I know you're anxious. The gentleman is still there, Christine is there, and you're there, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and just in your own words, what happened next?
So he hits her first, one time. He gets up. He's paced. He's angry and he's cussing out. He hits her 2 more times. As he's hitting her, I'm still on the floor. I see that when he's pulling, he got a crowbar in his hand. I see the crowbar. When he's pulling back, stuff is just pouring out of Christine's head and splashing all over the place. I tried to do something, but I can't because I'm stuck. I'm PCP and I'm stuck. So
What does stuck mean?
I couldn't move. I was in the verge of passing out, of blacking out on the PCP. The same thing that happened to me the Friday night when I.
Okay, let's get back to here, okay? You were stuck, what happened next?
So the only thing that I can do is scream. I try to scream, stop. He looks at me. He points at Christine with the crowbar, and he said,
Objection.
Being offered, Your Honor, it's being offered for the effect it had on the hearing. There's an exception.
Objection, Your Honor. It's self-serving, completely
All
self-serving.
right, so I don't know what the statement is going to be,
I understand.
but
I didn't want to have that.
that's all right. I'm going to ask the jury just to step out for a moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This is good.
Thank you. All right, counsel, the witness was just about to say someone said something. You're claiming a hearsay objection or that you're not entering it for the truth of the matter, it's the effect on the listener. I am getting the sense from the state that they feel it's too prejudicial to be heard in front of the jury. What is the statement that is anticipated here?
What you, the witness. just
Sure.
said. Okay, now, to the point where we just stopped, Mr. Morales, okay?
yes,
Keep your voice
Yes.
up, okay? You said the individual said something to you, correct?
yes.
And what was it that was said to you?
He's pointing at Christine with the crowbar. He's looking at me. He said to me that if I call police, the same thing will happen to your daughter.
That's
And
the
he-
offer. That's what he said. That's the offer, Your Honor. And where it's relevant is in regard to what effect it had on him in regard to calling the police.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
So in other words, it's not being offered for the truth of the matter. However, you're telling me that the effect is basically the rest of his testimony is going to be that he didn't call the police because of that statement.
What effect it had on him in regard to his.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Does the state wish to be heard on
Yeah,
that?
Your Honor, it's completely self-serving. He's already testified that he
Well,
was.
wait, it's not being claimed as hearsay. It's being claimed not for the truth of the matter. It's being claimed for the effect that it had on Mr. Morales. Jury will be given a limited instruction.
There was already testimony with regards to him being stuck and he couldn't do anything. So now we're offering a non-hearsay statement to show that what effect it
Attorney
had on him.
Durso, this is the defendant's testimony. It's subject to cross-examination. The proffer is that it's going to be stated that that's why he didn't call the police. That shows an effect on the listener, so I will allow it,
I would ask for an eliminating instruction then with regards to the statement.
of course.
Thank you.
We can bring the jury back in. Thank you.
No,
Please stipulate to the return of the jurors.
Yes, Your Honor.
Stipulated presence.
All right. Attorney Gavin, I'll allow you to have your client complete that particular part of his answer, and then I will provide a limiting instruction to the jury. So please stop at that point.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Morales, just one question to answer. When we broke, you said that the man that was in the apartment said something to you. What did he say?
He said to me, he was standing there, he was pointing at Christine.
he say
Objection,
to
Your
you?
Honor, it's non-responsive.
Mr. Morales, what did he say to you?
He said that if I call police, the same thing that happened to Christine will happen to my daughter.
Okay,
All right.
just stop right there.
Objection noted, Attorney Stein. Members of the jury, the witness has now testified to hearing a statement of another. Normally, that testimony is known as hearsay and not permitted. There is an exception to that rule when the witness testifies that he or she did something because of what he or she heard. In this particular case, it doesn't matter who uttered the statement or how the speaker gathered that information or whether the statement is truthful or accurate. It matters that someone uttered the words and the witness did something on hearing those words. So in this instance, you may not consider what the witness heard for the truth of the words spoken. You may consider those words only for the reason they are offered, and that is solely for the limited purpose to explain what this witness did upon hearing those words. So now I'll let you continue, Attorney Gavin.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Morales. After the individual said that, what happened next?
He walked out of the apartment.
Okay, now, what at that point, sir, what did you do?
I struggled to get up. I stumbled my way into the front door. I came out onto the door and the deck area.
Okay, hold on for just 1 second.
Attorney Gavin, we haven't connected the effect on the listener. We haven't responded to that. The effect on the listener, we haven't connected that yet.
Oh, okay. It's going to continue for the next.
I
3 or 4
understand
days.
that, but we need to, those words, what did he do upon hearing those words, or what was the effect on his conduct?
What, when you heard the words that the man said to you, what effect did it have on you?
It terrified me.
Okay, all right. And then did those words have an effect on you in regard to your conduct the next 2 or 3 days?
Yes.
And Your Honor, I'll represent to you that I'm going to take.
Well, I need to, for the jury, I want to connect it now and just ask what it was. What was the
Okay.
effect of those words?
Okay. As a consequence of hearing that, what effect did that have on you? Did you call the police?
No, I did not.
Objection leading, Your Honor.
Sustained.
What effect did it have on you?
I was afraid to call the police.
All right, thank you.
Thank
You make.
Okay, thank you. All right. Now, you said the man left, and I believe you testified that you were in the location of the kitchen living room area where my dad is. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what happened next.
Well, I got up, I stumbled my way into the doorway.
Okay, hold on. So you were in the living room area, you went to the doorway area
Yes,
where it says entrance.
yes.
Okay, what did you do?
I went into the screen door a little bit past the door, and I looked to see where he was going. And I saw him go towards the corner. At the same time, I saw his headlights coming in.
Okay, now let me just
Yeah.
put up Exhibit U, okay? Can you see Exhibit U?
Yes,
All right, I want you to go slow for us. I believe you just indicated that you saw the gentleman going towards the corner, is that correct?
yes.
Which corner are you referring to?
Towards the corner of Myrtle Ave and West Street.
Okay, so, hold on one second. This is 6.5 Myrtle, correct?
Yes,
And you say the corner, this is West Street over here,
yes,
and that's Myrtle Ave over there,
correct.
correct? And you said you saw him in the corner area?
Yes.
Okay, and then what did you see next?
Well, I saw headlights that were coming down from Myrtle Ave, slow.
Nice and slow. Was he going from Myrtle Avenue towards West Street?
Yes.
Okay, and what happened? What did you observe next?
Well, I heard the car door open, but the car didn't stop. He only slowed down, and the guy that ran out of my house or the apartment got in the car.
Okay, and where did the car go after that?
He went down West Street.
Okay, let's go nice and slow. The car then went down West Street towards the back of 6.5 Myrtle,
Yes,
okay? And when were you able to observe that with your own eyes?
yes, I did.
Okay, and then what else did you see?
That's it. He went down West Street. I saw him go down. I saw him coming from Myrtle Ave, turning left onto West Street and going down.
Okay, and did there come a point that you weren't able to see the vehicle
Yes,
after that point? Okay,
yes.
all right. What'd you do after that?
I went back inside the apartment.
Okay, I want you to go slow. What'd you do when you got back inside the apartment?
I turned around, I closed the door behind me, and I looked into the apartment.
What'd you
And-
see?
Christine was right there in front of me and by the tile area where I said that she got hit. And she was laying on top of a whole bunch of items, clothes, toys, the diaper pail was in that area too. And that little area was where Vanessa used to go and grab things and bring them from all over the apartment. She'll take stuff from the
Your Honor, it's not
hamper.
responsive at this
Just what you saw. You can't say what Vanessa did.
Well, Christine was lying on a pile of stuff that was already there. The apartment wasn't that organized. It was just a whole bunch of toys and stuff, and it was blood all over the place.
Okay, all right. So you went back into the apartment, you saw Christine, she was on these items. What did you do next, sir?
I'm. This is just 10 minutes, not even since when I smoked the PCP. I went inside the apartment. I tried to look for Vanessa everywhere. I looked in the rooms. I couldn't find her. The car seat was gone.
All right, hold on one second. What was gone?
The car seat.
What are you referring to?
The Vanessa's car seat.
Okay,
The base that the car seat was hooked into it was gone with the car seat.
okay. And what did you do next? Just tell us in your own words, what'd you do next?
I started looking for my phone.
Okay,
I found the phone in the little kitchen on the floor. I grabbed it.
let me stop you at this point. Approximately what time in the morning was it at this point?
Probably like somewhere in between.
If you know. You're not sure?
late night,
Okay. You're not sure of the exact time?
1:50 something, who
Okay.
knows,
Okay. Was there a bed located in the apartment?
a what?
A bed?
Yes,
Was there a bed? Did you go to the bed?
yes, I did.
Objection, Your
Okay.
Honor, he's leading at this point again.
Sustained.
What did you do next in regard to being in the apartment?
So once I found the phone, I tried to make a call.
Okay,
It didn't go through.
okay,
I went and I sat on the bed.
okay. And what happened when you were in the bed?
I just dozed off.
All right, okay. I know you didn't have a stopwatch on, but can you tell us approximately how long you dozed off for?
An hour or two.
Okay, all right.
I
Now,
went into PCP zone.
Objection, Your Honor.
okay,
Sustained. We'll
Move to strike, please.
We'll strike the responses as I went into PCP zone.
okay.
Unresponsive.
How were you feeling when you awoke from the 1 or 2 hour nap there?
So when the stuck portion of the high subsided and I started regaining a little bit of control of my senses, so to speak, I got out of the bed, I stood up from the bed and I walked towards where Christine was at.
Okay, and what'd you do next?
I was looking at it.
Okay. Did you do anything?
Yes. So
Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what your next steps were.
so I'm still high. The fan is on. I see a bag. I started taking somewhat. I wanted to call police, but at the same time, I kept hearing those words in my head. I grabbed there was a bag on the floor. I grabbed it and I started putting stuff in it.
What kind of bag?
A garbage bag.
Okay. And you said you were putting stuff in it. Do you
Yes.
recall what it was you were putting in it?
Yes.
What was it? Tell the
So
jury.
it was a small white plastic, the regular garbage bags. So I started putting some of the stuff that was on the floor inside a garbage bag.
What stuff was on the floor? You have to tell
The
them what.
blood, the stuff that had blood in it, everything that was the whole mess.
Okay. Can you just have to be a little bit more specific what you put in the
So-
bag?
Everything that I saw around Christine, I started putting it inside bags.
Okay. And then how many bags did you use to put stuff in?
4, 5 bags.
All right. And what'd you do with the bags?
I put them on the front deck.
Okay. All right, sir. And then after you put them on the front deck, just tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what happened next.
This is early in the morning now. So from when that happened, I dozed stuff for a couple of hours. Then I started doing that. When I came out of that, I saw that I freaked out. I was freaking out. I didn't know what to do. I started putting the items in the bag. I put the bags in the front deck. I come inside. I start putting other stuff. I put it in the front deck. And then around 6 o'clock, around 5:30 in the morning or something like that, early in the morning, all this freaking out got me wanting to smoke a cigarette. So really bad, really bad. But I didn't have no cigarettes.
Okay. All right. And what did you do next?
I was gonna go to the gas station to buy cigarettes.
Can I just inquire? We're about to go into a long videotape.
Oh,
And
okay.
this, I know we usually break around 4:30. I'll continue, or we can break if that's convenient.
No,
for
it's
you all.
probably a good time to break because it's clear we will not complete this witness by the end of the day.
Thank you.
So there's no sense getting into a video for 10 minutes. So, all right. So at this point in time, the court does intend to adjourn for the day. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as I always do, I just want to remind you of your obligations under your oath. Again, please abide by those obligations, and we will see you back tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Court stands adjourned.